welcome to From Me to You Media. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Now, Who Framed Roger Rabbit isn't the first attempt at a live-action animation mix. This type of filming has actually been an occurrence since the early 1900s. The channel Kubrick Lynch, Film History by Evan Chester, has a great video of all the attempts done throughout the years. I'm going to put the link to the direct video down below if you guys want to check that out. With a budget of $70 million, Who Framed Roger Rabbit made $12 million on their domestic opening and $330 million worldwide. The cost of production was so high due to the mix of animation and live action. According to IndieWire.com, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the standout movie of the 1980s and launched Disney into a new era. So, I'm not the only one who believes this is the spark of Disney's Renaissance era. This noirish mystery opened doors for other movies such as my two personal favorites, Looney Tunes Back in Action and the Scooby-Doo live action movies. The movie begins with a Warner Brothers animation classic opening to Baby Herman. He is getting into some Baby Herman antics. Roger is trying to stop him, basically from hurting himself. A refrigerator falls on Roger's head and he doesn't do stars, he does birds around his head. So then the director comes into the scene, and this is when we find out that this movie is animation in live action. Beautiful from the beginning. Baby Herman is walking off the set angry, sounding like a 50-year-old man who smokes 50 cigars a day. He walks under this lady's skirt on purpose. Inappropriate. So Roger is like, I can do stars, I can do stars. And the director is like, we can't keep doing all these takes if you're gonna keep getting them wrong. Roger is like, it doesn't matter, I can handle it, I can handle a refrigerator being dropped on my head. The director is like, we're not worried about your head, we're worried about the refrigerator. So funny. We do see our main character, Detective Valiant. He goes up to the office of R.K. Maroon. R.K. is like, listen, we need to get Roger in check because he is just wasting our money. He's not hitting his marks. He's not doing his work right. And so Detective Valiant is like, listen, I don't work for Tunes. I don't do this. I don't like them. RK is like, what? Every Joe loves Tunes. Detective Valiant is like, so get Joe to do it, because it ain't me. They discuss a little, and then Detective Valiant is convinced to work the case for $100. Which this takes place in 1947, so let's see how much that would be right now. So $100 in 1947 is roughly equivalent to $1,450 or $1,500 today. Make your money, honey. R.K. Maroon gives Detective Valiant 50 of the $100 to get pictures of Roger's wife, Jessica, basically hooking up with another man so that he can, one, do the job properly and come back and get the job done, and two, get Roger to be on his A game because he believes that Jessica is the reason that Roger is not doing his job correctly. Detective Valiant then leaves with the $50 and he tries to get on a trolley, and the trolley is like, money, tries to hand him the check. The trolley man is like, what am I, a bank? So then Detective Valiant has to hitch a ride on the back of the trolley with these poor kids in the neighborhood, which is really sad. And they actually help another kid to hitch a ride on the trolley with them. Getting off of the trolley, he thanks the kids for some cigarettes. 1947 for you. So sad. He walks up to his office/home and he's fixing a sign, and you can see that it says Valiant and Valiant. So keep that in mind. Mailman comes up and he's like, oh, what do you have today for me? And he's like, oh, bills as usual. Detective Valiant is like, and he tosses his mail into the trash and he goes across the street. His first name is Eddie. We learned that from the mailman. He goes into the bar and there's this mute guy in there. And he asks him like, what's wrong with one of their other peoples? And he's like, oh, he got laid off. So someone brought all the trolley cars. This corporation is called Cloverleaf that's buying everything in LA at this time. He's like, ugh, sad world. So then we meet Dolores, who is Eddie's friend. She stops him from drinking his shot. She's like, hold up, where the money you owe me? Because I need to be back in the till before my boss get back. He like, look, And he pulls out the $50 check, and she's like, $50? Wait, where the rest of it? The other 50. And he's like, it's just a snoop job away. Some other drunk guy comes in, and he finds out that he's working for RK Maroon, who's the owner of Maroon Studios, animation studios. He starts making fun of him like, oh, the little Bo Peep lose her sheep and you have to go help her find them. So then he kicks the chair straight from under his butt, and he grabs his neck and he says, listen, I don't work for Toons. And then he mushes a boiled egg in his mouth. So funny, actually. He walks out of the bar, and they're like, what's his problem? And Dolores is like, a Toon killed his brother. It's really sad. It's really dramatic, very sad. And later that night, we see him at Jessica's place of work, Jessica Rabbit. Donald Duck and Daffy Duck are having a piano battle on the stage, and he's just like, okay. And then he gets served by none other than Betty Boop. He's like, Betty, what are you doing here? And it's really nice to see, because at least he's friends with Betty Boop. Like, she ain't do nothing but a boopity boop boop to you. Then we see Mr. Marvin Acme, and if you don't know, Acme, they're like props, they're like everywhere. He's getting ready for Jessica to come on stage, and when she comes out, everybody is like mouth agape. Everybody jaw dropped on the floor. 1947. So she's done with her performance, and Eddie is sneaking around in her dressing room, and he gets kicked out. So he finds a window where he can snap photos of Jessica and Marvin Acme together playing patty cake. Very inappropriate. Cut to the next day of him showing Roger the photos, and Roger's like, patty cake, crying. They give him a shot of alcohol, and then literally he loses his head and bounces off the wall, and now he's drunk. And then they're like, don't worry, you can find somebody else. He's like, what? No, Jessica is the only woman for me. And runs out the window. Then Roger is crying in the alley, and Detective Valiant is back in his office. It actually is a great one-take shot from Eddie's desk to his brother's desk to these newspaper clippings, and we get to see that they helped Goofy on spy charges. That's really funny. And then it's a picture of the two brothers and the dad was actually a clown. So that's where they get their sense of humor from, which most likely influenced them to work for Toons. And then it goes back to Eddie, who is drunk at his desk, slump. Lieutenant Santino walks in and grabs the bottle off of Eddie's desk and picks up the trash can and throws the bottle in the trash can, throws the trash can on the floor loud enough to wake Eddie up. He's like, Eddie, if you needed some money, you could have just came to me. And Eddie's like, what are you talking about? It was just a snoop job. And he's like, well, Roger killed Marvin Acme. Eddie's like, what? So then they go to Acme Factory, and Eddie is like triggered. He's like, haven't been this close to Toontown since the death of his brother. So sad, actually. They go in, Jessica is there talking to the police, and you see the outline, and they dropped a safe on Marvin Acme's head. What a way to go out. They actually dropped a piano on Eddie's brother's head, who we find out his name is Teddy. So Eddie and Teddy, that's so crazy. So piano on Teddy's head, a safe on Acme's head. Put a pin in that, since they both seem similar. Everybody in town knows that Eddie has a drinking problem at this point, and the other police officers around are making fun of him. They're like, you're Eddie Valiant! Or did you change your name to Jack Daniels? That part was actually very funny. And then Jessica comes up to him, and she smacks him, and she's like, what kind of man are you taking pictures like that? And she walks out. Judge Doom comes in, and he's like, you know, Eddie, I think you would be more appreciative of this case since what happened to your brother. And Eddie is like, I'm interested in justice. No justice, no peace. Period. Judge Doom finds this Toon just on the floor. It's just a shoe. It's just a shoe. It's just a rubber shoe. And he's like, you know what? Now that I am taking over Toontown, I just want the Toons to respect the law. He takes this innocent rubber shoe, puts it in Toon acid, which they call dip. So he puts it in the dip, and it melts away. That's how they kill Tooms. Eddie is walking into his office and he sees a lady bent over a baby stroller. He's like, "Ooh, look at that!" And then he sees her handing the baby a cigar. He's like, "Oh, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on." And then we find out that it's Baby Herman. And Baby Herman is like, "No, Roger could not have killed Marvin Acme. Like, we've been somewhat friends for years. When Marvin Acme was killed, in the newspaper they put that there was no will." And Baby Herman is like, this is suspicious. So he came to Eddie and he's like, "Listen, I don't think Roger did it because it says no will, but there was a will. Let's figure this out." And Eddie is like, "No, I don't work for Tooms." Kicks him out. Like, literally, like, pushes him out, and Baby Herman starts crying and he starts laughing. So then Eddie sits at his desk and he's looking at this picture of Marvin Acme. He does see a will in his pocket. He's like, So then he gets up and he goes to take a nap, and who's in his bed? Roger. Roger is in his bed. So then he's like, "What the hell are you doing here? They're gonna come get you. They're looking for you." Judge Doom has these weasels working for him, these Toon weasels. He's like, "They're gonna come looking for you. In the first place they're gonna look is here. Like, who knows you're here?" Roger's like, "I asked all these people, they didn't know, but you know who knew? The liquor store guy. He knew where you live." Eddie has a real problem. So Eddie's like, "No, you can't be here. I'm not gonna help you." He's trying to kick him out. Roger pretends he's gonna leave, goes into Eddie's closet, and Eddie's like, "That's a closet." He goes to see, and he's looking for Roger in the closet, and Roger comes out with handcuffs and cuffs them both together. Then he's like, "Bruh, I don't have any keys for these handcuffs, and these weasels are outside at this point." Roger's like, "You gotta help me, you gotta help me. I just went there to write Jessica a love letter." And he's like, "Wait, you wrote your wife a love letter even though you were upset with her?" And he's like, "Yes, I did." And Eddie's like, "I still don't want to help you." The weasels come knocking at Eddie's door and shoot the handle off the door and break the door open. And Eddie's doing dishes at the sink. Then we come to find out that Eddie is holding Roger under the water. Long story short, he is going to help Roger. So boom. After convincing the weasels that Roger wasn't there, Eddie and Roger go to the bar across the street to Dolores because they have, like, the Prohibition era where you used to hide in the back and stuff. They have that. So they go in the back and he's like, "Help me get these cuffs off," and he finds a saw to saw the cuff off. And then Roger just slips his hand out of the cuff and he's like, "Is this what you need?" And Eddie's like, "You could have did that the whole time." He still saws the cuff off anyway, because who wants to walk around with cuffs on their hands? So, boom, he asks Dolores if Roger can stay there, if she can watch him, and she agrees. Eddie is back in his place, and Jessica comes, and she's like, "You gotta help me find Roger. Like, I'm just so worried about him. I would do anything for my husband." Anything. And Dolores walks in while Jessica is this close to Eddie. They have, like, a relationship. Dolores is like, "Eddie, you like him drawn now?" And Eddie's like, hold on, Dolores." And Jessica walks out. I honestly thought it was Jessica the whole time. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought it was Jessica. Eddie's following Dolores because she's reasonably upset. So Eddie has this theory that Arcane Maroon and Jessica set up Roger so that they can get Toontown. So then Dolores is like, "Your theory is wrong because Cloverleaf is after Toontown, not Maroon." And Cloverleaf just brought up all the trolleys in the town. So they're like, So they want Toontown and the trolleys? What's really going on? But Jessica is behind them, like, in the car, like, she's not bad. She's just drawn that way. But it just gives, I can do that all by myself, girl. So boom. As they're putting this all together, they hear Roger in the bar singing to all the bar heads. And they're like, "Why is he so loud?" So they run in there and they get Roger to the back and they're like, "Roger, these people will call the cops on you. They will call the cops on you for 5 cents. And Roger's like, "No, they would never call the cops on me. I just wanted to make them happy and I just wanted to make them laugh because everybody needs to laugh. Everybody's so doom and gloom around here, or what's wrong with y'all? And Dolores starts buzzing them because who's walking into the bar? Judge Doom and his weasels. Dolores is like, don't harass my customers in here. And Judge Doom is like, I'm not harassing them. I'm trying to ask y'all for help. And he goes up to the chalkboard and it says French dip for 50 cents. And he takes off the French and he puts rabbits and $500. So now it says rabbit dip $500. And everybody's like, $500? Valiant took this case for $100. So imagine how they feel about $500. Okay, the guy who was making fun of him earlier for working with Tooms, he's like, listen, I ain't seen a rabbit. And Judge Doom is like, where? Where did you see the rabbit? He's like, right here. We think that everything is okay, but then it's not. Because Judge Doom starts doing shave and a haircut. So go, do, 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 do. You know that one. So Judge Doom starts doing the shave and a haircut knock because Atoon cannot resist finishing it off. So he starts going all over the bar, and then Roger just bounces out the wall to finish it. He's like, gotcha. He grabs Roger to put him in a dip, and Eddie's like, Dolores, let me get a shot. And Dolores is like, you think right now is the time for a shot? It's like, literally, we don't pour me alcohol right now. He's like, Judge Doom, he gets his last drink, let him have it. Judge Doom is like, okay, he can have it. Roger's like, I'm trying to cut back. I don't want it, actually. Please don't play right now. Eddie's like, yes, you do. And he's like, no, I don't. Eddie's like, yes, you do. He's like, no, I don't. Eddie's like, no, you don't. He's like, yes, I do. So then he takes the shot and he drinks it. And then he starts exploding everywhere. And everybody starts falling back. Eddie starts beating up the weasels. Then he pours the dip over. And then he takes Roger and they run out the street. And they try to steal the cop car that the weasels ride around town in. And they notice someone named Benny in the back. Who is Benny? Benny is a taxi car. And then they hop in Benny instead. And Benny drives them on a high-speed chase from the weasels and from the real cops actually to a theater so that they can hide out at. So while they're hiding out there, Roger is like, you know, everybody in this theater is laughing but you sour puss. Why are you such a sour puss? And then Eddie's like, me and my brother were on this case. We're working on the first bank robbery case of Toontown, and I just remember this Toon with burning red eyes and a high-pitched voice drop a piano on both of them, and I only broke my arm. So I think that Eddie also has survivor's remorse since he was also there and broke his arm and seen his brother get killed by the fallen piano. 15 stories. He dropped the piano from 15 stories. That is crazy. Roger is in tears. He's like, boo, 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 boo. Like, no wonder you hate me. And Eddie's like, I don't hate you. And he's like, yes, you do hate me. You're always pulling on my ear. And then Eddie's like, I'm sorry for pulling on your ears. And he's like, all the times? He's like, all the time. It's one of the best movies ever made. Dolores pulls up to the theater, and Eddie's like, you know, thank you so much, Dolores, for bringing all my stuff here. I don't really want to run away, but it's what I gotta do, and you deserve a great guy. And Dolores is like, I already have a great guy. This movie is so good. As they're walking out, the theater is playing the news. Comes to find out that RK Maroon is also being brought out by Cloverleaf. When Eddie hears this, he's like, hold up, actually. And he comes up with this plan for him and Roger to go to RK Maroon Studios, say that they have Acme's will, so that RK Maroon could tell them the truth. They go through with that plan, but they actually don't have the will, it's a fake will. When they pull up to RK Maroon Studios, Eddie's like, Roger, you're gonna stay out here, you're gonna have my bag, beep if anybody pulls up, and I'm gonna go upstairs. So Roger is like, okay, I got this. Boom, gets knocked out by a pan over the head. Okay, so upstairs with RK Maroon, Eddie is like, listen, you know, I got the will, but do you have the way? And RK Maroon is like, I'm not playing with you. And he pulls out a gun and he takes the will and he finds out that the will is fake. But Eddie grabs him and he puts his tie through the film developer. And he's like, tell the truth, tell the truth. What's going on? Arcade Maroon is like, Cloverleaf will not buy me out unless they buy Acme first. I did set up the pictures with Jessica and Acme. I did not set him up to get killed. I'm just trying to get paid. So while he's saying all this, a gun comes through the window. Boop. Arcade Maroon is dead now. And Eddie runs out, but he looks through the window first, and you just see Jessica running away. Now Jessica also put Roger in her trunk because she's the one who knocked Roger out. Like, she's just so suspicious. She's not bad. She was just drawn that way. Eddie hops in his car. He starts chasing Jessica. And where does she go? She goes to Toontown. But before Eddie can go into Toontown, he has to stop and take a breath. So he takes his gun and replaces it for his Toon gun. And he takes his bottle, pours it out. Eddie's like, no, I'm on the side of justice. I can't keep doing this anymore. My brother wouldn't want this. I don't want this. So he's trying to do right. He throws the bottle and he goes to Toontown. It's so bright. It's so bright. It's probably brighter than he remembers. Everybody's like, hey, Eddie. They all remember him. He hasn't been there for 5 years. Good for you, Eddie. He's in Toontown and he thinks he sees Jessica. Nope, it's not Jessica. It's actually some crazy woman, like a man. And she starts chasing him. He falls out of the building. She catches him, luckily, because he could have died. He tricks her into running into a wall, and then he goes down this alley, and Jessica's like, Valiant, with a gun. And she shoots at him, but she wasn't shooting at him. She was shooting behind him. And who was she shooting? Judge Doom. Eddie's like, ooh. And Jessica's like, I wasn't shooting you, I was shooting Doom. And the only reason I was at Arcade Maroons is because I seen Doom go in there and I wanted to know what was going on. And then I seen Roger, and then I didn't want him to get hurt, so I smacked him over the head with a frying pan and put him in my trunk. While they're in Toontown, Roger snuck out of her trunk and took Eddie's car. Roger can't drive, so the town is a mess. And she's like, yep, that's my man, he made this mess because he can't drive. So she's like, I'm so worried about Roger. Like, we just need to find him. And Eddie's like, what do you see in him? And she's like, he makes me laugh. We love a good husband-wife duo. Anyways, they're in Benny because Roger has Eddie's car and Jessica's car is messed up. So they're in Benny. And as they're driving out of Toontown, Judge Doom pours dip into the middle of the road and the acid burns Benny's tires. It's like really crazy if you think about it. Judge Doom takes Eddie and Jessica to the Acme factory to set them up to get. And while they're there, Roger finds Benny, and Benny tells Roger, like, we need to get to the Acme factory. That's just where they took Eddie and Jessica. So Roger is like, okay, hop in. And Benny's like, you ain't driving. So Benny drives. Benny is a taxi. So funny. He drives Eddie's car to the Acme factory, and Roger busts in to no help because now him and Jessica are tied up together. Eddie makes a connection that the weasels, if they laugh, they will literally laugh themselves to death, because that's what Judge Doom keeps saying. He's like, stop laughing, you guys are gonna die. If you keep laughing, you're gonna die. Eddie puts on this whole performance for them, and it literally kills them because of how funny they think it is. All the weasels are gone, and they have this big machine full of dip because they plan on using the dip to destroy Toontown to build a freeway so people can get on and off and on and off and have billboards and motels. And Eddie's like, what is a freeway? Why do you want to get rid of a Toontown just for this mumbo jumbo? The machine that has the dip in it is literally a spraying dip at Roger and Jessica, and Eddie has to stop the machine. Judge Doom knocks Eddie off of the machine. Eddie takes this magnet to try to pull Doom towards him, but instead it pulls Eddie back and traps him, gets him stuck. And Doom takes this steamroller and tries to run over Eddie, but Eddie takes this black hole to open the magnet out of the way of the steamroller. And then they actually start fighting. Eddie holds the glue up and Judge Doom punches a tube of glue. And then the steamroller is coming back in their direction. and he punches again. Eddie moves out of the way and he punches the steamroller, and his hand gets stuck, and then he steps in the glue and his foot gets stuck. So while this is happening, Eddie has to go back to the machine to stop the dip from spraying out of the machine in general. So he stops the machine and the steamroller rolls over Judge Doom. So now we think Judge Doom is dead? No. He stands up flat as a like this. Eddie's like, oh snap, you're a Toon. And Judge Doom is like, surprised? And Eddie's like, no, I'm not surprised because only a Toon could come up with that dumb idea of a freeway. While he's inflating himself back, Judge Doom's eyes pop out, and then he gets this high-pitched voice and he has the burning red eyes. And then Eddie, now he is surprised. He's like, that's right, I killed your brother. It was me all along. I killed Maroon, I killed Acme, I'm Cloverleaf. So he brought the trolleys and he killed his brother. This man was on a mission. So Eddie starts running away from Judge Doom, and Judge Doom is chasing him, and he starts the spray up machine again so that it could start spraying at Roger and Jessica because they're still trapped. And while this is happening, Eddie takes the machine and he gets it to spray in their general direction because now he knows that Judge Doom is a Toon. So now he sprays the dip all over the floor, and Judge Doom is done for. They do the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm melting, I'm melting. He does that, like, very dramatic, and he starts to melt. And they're like, Eddie stops the machine from spraying, and Lieutenant Santino pulls up. Everybody pulls up. The machine is like also driving itself too, and it breaks out of the wall of the Acme factory but into Toontown and gets hit by a Toontown train. So Toontown is saved as well. It will not be destroyed to be made into a freeway. Eddie cleans up all the dip off the floor to help Jessica and Roger get down, and the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. So all the Toons are like piling in because they could see like the mess coming in, and they are still looking for the will, and Eddie gets covered in invisible ink, and he's like, wait a minute, Roger, take out that paper that you wrote your love letter on. Roger takes out the paper, and the paper turns out to be the will, but it was an invisible ink because my boy Acme is smart. Like, why did y'all think he was going down without a fight? So yeah, that's the end of the movie, and everything is beautiful. So yeah. I give Who Framed Roger Rabbit a 10 out of 10. It has everything you want. Romance, mystery, drama. What more could you ask for? Thank you for watching. Peace out.